Business is hard, but when I learned how to do this one thing, it became 10 times easier. And once I showed my clients how to master it, they built an insane amount of momentum, made more progress toward their goals in 1 week than in the previous 3 months, and added over $15,000 a month to their business. So I'm going to show you what that thing is, and I'll also show you a guaranteed method to master it so that you can feel as if you've actually got control of the outcomes in both your business and your time. So what is the one thing you need to learn to make business 10 times easier? Well, for it to actually make sense, I want you to imagine the difference between lightning and a lighthouse. So stick with me. In a storm, there's going to be lightning. When you think about lightning, it's quick, it's intense, and primarily it's uncontrollable and to a certain extent unpredictable. You can't control when that lightning strikes, where it hits, how intense it is, or how much of it there is, which of course can lead to some disastrous consequences that are entirely outside of your control. But of course, the coastline has a lighthouse, and during the storm, the lighthouse is steady, it's deliberate, and it is controllable. You can climb up that tower, you can direct that light in any way you want, allowing you to create positive consequences that are inside your control. And there's something that quite literally the vast majority of entrepreneurs do that make them act like the damn lightning. Intense, uncontrollable, and unpredictable. And the worst part? Most entrepreneurs don't even know that they do it. If you're reactionary, you're going to be acting like that lightning in your business, which creates a few problems. You see, reactionary behavior is really an evolutionary trait. It's something we all do without realizing, but it's designed entirely for emotion and survival. If you touch something hot, you instantly react to take your hand off the thing that's hot to prevent you from getting hurt. Of course, in that context, reacting is obviously good, but in business and performance, it's not. You see, reactionary behavior doesn't work for creating progress and improvement. For you to progress and improve, you have to be willing to expose yourself to a certain amount of risk, to a certain amount of discomfort and suffering, and that goes entirely against what reactionary behavior is designed to do. So if you react in your business, you actually end up making worse decisions, you take worse actions, and you perform less optimally, and in turn you get worse results. It also feels like you have no control over not only your business but your time as well. Well, because you don't. You see, reacting is subconscious, it's out of your control, which means it's influenced not only by your hardwired primal instinct to survive, but also by any limiting beliefs and perceptions that you have about yourself in the world. For example, someone who thinks sales is scary or bad or whatever, right? They have a negative connotation around sales. When they jump on a sales call, they will react in a negative way to any pushback or questions from the prospect, ruining the call and potentially destroying the business because they don't get any sales. Or someone who believes that they can't focus and that focusing is hard will react throughout the day to avoid focusing on important work, creating negative and further consequences throughout not only their business but also in their day and how they spend their time, which, when you think about it, your business is simply a reflection of how you spend your time. And so if you're reactionary, you quite literally don't have control over your business outcomes or how you spend your time. Now, I'm going to show you how to fix this in just a minute, but if you want the solution to work, it is crucial that you understand why you react and how it actually works. Now, you know the evolutionary and subconscious reasons which we just went over, but it's also simply a result of the universal law of systems. So if you think of a system as its most basic components, we have an input, we have an output, thing one happens, and then as a result, thing two happens. What you do in terms of your actions and decisions, which ultimately reflect in your performance in business, are governed by the same universal law. Only in between the input and the output, there's a process. And in the context of what you do, that process is what determines whether you react or respond. Now, naturally, the process is a reactionary one, which means when something happens, be it a thought, an impulse, an email, a message, a system breakdown, or whatever it is, we naturally react, which of course, like we covered, is not the path we want to go down for progress and improvement. As really, reactionary behavior is almost always the path of least resistance. It's the easier path, and in turn, because it's easy, it doesn't create progress. It's not the correct path for improving your performance or business. Luckily, how you process that input and in turn the output you get is in your control. And if you learn how to master this process, you'll be able to respond, not react, and in turn take better actions, make better decisions, perform more optimally, and you grow your business faster with a sense of control around your outcomes and how you spend your time. So how do you master this process? Well, essentially in this we have a stimulus, an input, we then have a process, a gap, and then we have a response, an output. And if you want to find business easier, make better decisions and perform more optimally, you need to learn how to control the outputs by utilizing the process or the gap between the stimulus and response. And I just realized I made like some sort of Illuminati symbol there. I'm not doing that on purpose. That was a complete fluke. But anyway, well, how do I move on from that? I'm just going to ignore it. Well, first understand this is a skill, right? There's nothing I can tell you that will make you amazing at it tomorrow. It takes time to build and improve at this, but it is one of the things that nobody tells you that you need to do that will completely change your business. And so unless you're, happy with staying where you are, feeling out of control of how you spend your time and where your business is going, you need to build it. But despite the fact there's nothing you can do to make you good at it straight away, there's a few things you can do that will ensure you get good at it fast. And I will tell you what those things are in just a minute. But really this all comes down to self-awareness. If you are not self-aware of what you're doing, how can you expect to control what you do? You can't. Awareness of something is the prerequisite to changing it. So you need to build self-awareness, and that is the only way to get better at responding, not reacting. Because really the reason you react is because you're not self-aware of what you're doing in that moment, and so the unconscious and evolutionarily primal side of you designed for safety and survival takes over. Anyway, the first thing you can do is sit in the gap. If you want to do something, whether it's good or bad, whether it's eat junk food, scroll your phone, or work on a specific task, don't just go and do it. Recognize that you want to do something, sit there, think about why you want to do it, whether that thing is the right thing to do or not, and then based on that, follow what is right. And guess what? You will know what is right. We all know in every moment what the right thing to do is. The difference is some people listen to it and some people don't. So learn how to sit in the gap and do what is right. Learn how to think through what you do before you do it. The second thing is daily reflections. So every single day, reflect on your day. The best way to do this is to journal, paying specific attention to the decisions you made that day, the actions you took, how you spent your time, and why you took those actions, made those decisions, and spent your time that way. And look, there is no right or wrong way to do this exactly, but feel free to argue with yourself, or at least have a dialogue with yourself about why you did what you did and if it was the right thing to do. This might take 5 minutes, it might take 10 minutes, it might take 30, but it is one of the best things you can do to improve your self-awareness. Because guess what? When you do this, every single day you know that you're going to be held accountable to yourself that night. You know you're going to reflect on what you did, and if what you did was not productive, useful, or right, you will feel crap, you will feel guilty, you'll be forced to change. This won't only help improve your mental clarity because you're journaling, but it will massively improve your self-awareness and bring your own problems in terms of how you act to the front of your mind, making them easier to spot when they're standing in front of you, allowing you to more easily choose to respond and not react. Now, you could also do some sort of meditation around this as well. I personally prefer journaling for this context, as the process of writing allows you to better see in a more objective way the realities of your day. But 10 minutes of meditation would also be massively beneficial here. Either way, make it a daily non-negotiable to reflect on your day and how you spent your time. And yes, guess what? This is going to be hard. You're going to face resistance to doing this. But when I say it's going to be hard, it's not actually hard. You're fucking writing and thinking. It is not that hard. But there will be this resistance and this block to doing this, because there will be a part of you that does not want to face what you're doing wrong. But if you don't face what you're doing wrong, how on earth do you expect to improve it? The third thing you can do is understand the potential impact of your actions. You see, your actions, the things you do, they're the only things you can control, and hence they're the only real things that dictate the life you live, your daily performance and the growth of your business, and therefore they should be valued massively. They should not be taken lightly. So many entrepreneurs go through their day with no care, with no intention or purpose, not realizing that their business life and fulfillment is a direct result of how they spend their time. The better you spend your time, the better your life will be. There is no exceptions to this. So be considerate with what you do. Don't just do things. Don't give in to impulses. Make sure you optimize your environment to be conducive to positive, useful actions, and think through what you do before you do it. So many people don't realize that they're alive. pretty simply, they don't realize that they can consciously choose to do whatever they want. You don't have to do things without thinking. You can consciously choose what you do. Like right now, I could do something stupid. I could fucking do that, right? I can consciously choose to do whatever I want right now. If someone asks you a question, you don't have to just respond. If you feel an inclination to do something, you don't have to just do it. Instead of listening to yourself, why not have a conversation with yourself about why you want to do that thing and what the right thing to do is? Look, these strategies that will help you become more self-aware and that will help you respond, not react, so that you have more control over your time and business, none of these are actually that hard. You're simply being more aware of what you're doing and choosing to respond in the way that's best instead of reacting mindlessly. But it does take time to get good at, and the more you do it, the easier it is to do more often and the better you get at doing it. It's a self-fulfilling cycle, meaning the more you choose to respond and the more self-aware you are, the better you'll be able to respond and not react. Now, something you can do to help with this whole process is simply set alarms. This isn't always practical or ideal, but if you can set an alarm for every hour to remind yourself to be more self-aware and present, eventually you automatically become more self-aware and present. You become more conscious and stop floating through life mindlessly and unconsciously. But this whole concept also relies on your ability to prioritize. So if you want to learn how to actually prioritize in your business, check out this video here.